Oh my god, my Xbox is being stupid. Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Welcome back to Race Spec. This is the America's Open Series. They have begun qualifying just now. Sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulties getting the stream up and running. So we are here now for the America Series. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is round 1 of Season 6, the first round of the new season. Looking forward to a new season. I won't be a regular commentator, as I'm only doing this as a one-off or so, I guess, for now. As I've just got some time off from my personal life, and I'm able to do this. So we're currently 1.5 minutes into the session. We're riding along with Insane Sparty. He's just default 1. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1 for his teammate, it looks like. But I think the first one to complete a lap is actually going to be the Alpine and Porsche, but he's invalidated, so he pulls it into the lane. Next one is going to be one of the Mercedes. It is the other Mercedes who's going to be first. Was just right on board with his teammate. This is the greatest, the Grady OSUT. He goes fastest with a 1:18.3. Pretty decent lap time. Personally, I raced in Pacific last night. That wasn't streamed. I did a 16.5, so I'm sure the lap times will improve a little bit better. As RSF1 Kryto, or formerly known as RSF1 Uzumaki, goes first place with Sublime 2 in second, with the Alfa Romeo of Z Hanger 4510 going third. Insane Sparty drops into fourth in the Aston Martin. Henry's in 6th with the Mercedes of the Greaters. I'm just going to call him the Great Yo. The Great Yo in 5th. Sharky's popped into 8th. Obviously, Sharky, a long-time driver in the Race Spec series. Glad to see he's still going on. We've got Alligator on an outlap, as well as the Hasses, one of them anyway, of Pedro. Porsche is still in the lane after his little invalidation. We got the Mercedes on a lap now with a purple middle sector, so we'll round out this lap with him, see what he has to offer as he comes around the final corner now. As he rounds the final turn, he comes up onto the straight and he sets a 1 minute 17.935, putting him second place behind RSF1 at Kryto 48. Oh, there's an AlphaTauri in the gravel. What's happening here? Is he just waiting for people to go by, or has he got a problem? Looks like he's just waiting for people to go by. It's an interesting place to do that. Don't know why I wouldn't just do it on the right-hand side of the circuit, but, you know, different people, different strategies. As the Williams has invalidated his lap time. What about his teammate Alligator? It doesn't look like it. As he rounds the final corner, the tricky final corners, I must add. Very easy to lock a brake and overheat your front left tyre around this final turn. Is he going to run out of ERS on the way up the hill? Yes, he is. As he opens the ERS, he goes 7th fastest with a 1:18.3. Twisty Canadian pulls into the pit lane. Sharky's going for another lap. Interesting. That's very interesting. We've got Cool Kyogi. He's on a lap, but it is invalidated. Corgi, who's usually on a wheel, is he's having to race on pad at the moment, as Fanatec's still having supply issues globally. Even my mate in Australia can't get one, so hopefully they fix that shortly, especially for Cool Kyogi's sake, because he's a good driver. He just is being held back a little bit at the moment. As Uzumaki going, he looks to be on an in-lap, assuming by his invalidation. So, is he coming in? Yes, he is. So a lot of people got out, set their first runs. Relactum looks to be on an in-lap as well. He's not using ERS or anything. Alligator, is he on a lap? He's down by 2/10. He's got no ERS left, so I'm assuming this will be an in-lap. He's still pushing on though. As Gadu Fix goes first with a 17.5. Sharky pops up to third on his lap. Does the Williams pull into the pit lane? Yes, he does. I thought that might have been the case. Is Henry on? No, he's on. So Sharky up to P3. He's on 3-lap old softs. That's an interesting strategy there from the Aston Martin driver. Hopefully, for his sake, he can go out in a fresh set and beat that lap time. That way, he can start on the fresher set of soft tyres. But you never know. Is Pedro on a lap? Is there a car stopped on track just then? Yeah, Ferrari, I believe, has just stopped on the circuit. That's really weird. A lot of interesting things happening in this qualifying session. As CJBR Shady is on a lap, on his out lap anyway. He's a really fast driver, so we might ride on board with him this lap, and let's just see what he can do. Purple middle sector from Shady there as he rounds into this final sector. Very easy to lock either your front left there, your front right here, and it really hurts the tyres this final sector, so you've got to take it nice and smooth. You've got to be careful around this corner because it's very easy to spin out. I did that in Season 5 and I crashed out as Shady comes up to the line. He sticks right for the fastest through, and he goes fastest with a 1:17.2 from CJBR Shady. What a great lap time as I don't know. I'm just going to call him Uzumaki because I don't know. I'll just call him Uzumaki because that's what I remember him by. He's on a lap as the Red Bull now on a lap as well of YKTV Jimmy. Hopefully it's not Jimmy Broadman. That'd be a weird name for your Xbox, Jimmy Broadman, but you know. As he's actually set a purple middle sector. I don't know if that's actually a purple middle sector or the game glitching. So he's set a 30.7. I'll just quickly check it. And no, it's 7/10 off the fastest sector. So that's just the game being game. Brilliant. As there's a slow car in the first sector. I think it might have been the Alpine's getting out of the way as Jimmy goes 14th fastest. So he's the third slowest of all the drivers who have made a lap so far. Is the Ferrari? No, he's down by half a second. How's Professor Phil going to go? As Uzumaki goes first fastest with 16.8, straight into the 16s there from Uzumaki or Kurito. So he's laying down the gauntlet to our CJBR Shady this season. Them two had a good fight, I heard, in the Sunday leagues, or the Tuesday leagues, sorry, of Season 5. So hopefully they can bring that to Americas for everyone's entertainment. As Professor Phil goes 16th fastest on the medium. So if you want to start on the mediums, obviously you could be outside the top 10 to start on the mediums, or you can start on any tyre if you're outside the top 10. But if you qualify in the top 10 on the softs, you have to start on the softs. I think it was Godot Fix who just went third fastest. And I think Z Hanger went fourth fastest as well. So good lap times from those guys up there with Shady and Uzumaki. Geez, we have 9 viewers now. I better welcome everyone to Race Spec Esports. Hope you're enjoying the show. Not really a show, but you know what I meant. As Uzumaki and Shady are both coming into the pit lane now. As I think Shady's just coming out of it actually. Yeah, he is. So interesting to see what he does. As Alligator goes 4th fastest in the Williams. Hello, Couch Potato Kate. Thank you for the heart, my friend. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. Z Hangers currently, no, he's not. I keep these names are really confusing for me, considering I haven't raced with these guys. I don't know many of them. So if I do get your name wrong, I do apologise in advance, as a lot of these names are difficult for me to pronounce, because I'm Australian and don't know how to pronounce these guys. So I'll try my best, okay? As we watch Pedro for Gigas, and he's lost the back end and he's nearly spun it through turn 8, the ultimate cuck curve, as it's known on this game, as the worst corner in existence, as some people might call it. It's genuinely horrible, that uphill left-hander. He went wide there, he's up by 2/10 on his previous best, and he spun it. He's gonna try and avoid the track as he does. He's lucky there to avoid smashing into someone, but that is a big mistake from the Haas driver, and that's completely totaled his lap. So I think that was Shady who drove past him, as someone's jumped up the order, I think. Freelance, no, it might have been Sharky actually, or Sparty. I think it was Sparty who jumped up to 5th. So good luck from him. See what his teammate can do. I think his teammate's on fresh tyres. So the gap, you can see the gap's the leader there. So Uzumaki currently got 4/10 on 2nd place. So you can see the field spread is pretty decent there, considering the time, as Sharky sets a purple sector 1. I don't think it's a purple sector 1. 22. Holy crap, he's up by 8/10 on Uzumaki's first sector. That's, I think, unless I'm reading that wrong, Uzumaki's at a 21.993, and he's 22s, I think, for Sharky, was it? Yeah, 22s. I was reading that wrong, as he's up by 2 more tenths in his lap. So there's another spin. I think that's one of the Williams' round. No, it's Porsche. Porsche's retired. Porsche's binned the car in the wall. We'll have to see where that is. Where's the other Terry? There he is. He's off in the wall. That's a big mistake from Porsche. Will now start the Portuguese Grand Prix from 19th place, as Shady comes up to the line. 1 lap time does he set? He sets a 1:16.9. He's just under a 10th off Uzumaki. So if he can find 1 more 10th within his lap time, he will be on pole for the Portuguese Grand Prix. I think he'll get 1 more run at it, and then he will be done. So one of your main people in this league, Porsche, has just crashed out under qualifying. So that's a big mistake from him, as we watch the Haas driver of Mexico start his lap. I wonder if this guy is Mexican because of his name. That's not meant to be taken in any other way. As he comes up through turn 3, I had an incident with one of my fellow drivers there last night. Didn't go very well for me. I was very annoyed. As he comes down into the hairpin now, very easy to run wide there and invalidate your lap. He manages to avoid it, but it wasn't the fastest either. So we'll have to see what this lap brings for the house driver, as he's on the curb but he's wide, and that's pretty much his lap ruined. He didn't get invalidated, so he could still improve, as some random person has just joined the lobby. I don't know who that is, but whoever they are, they can't get in a car, so that's good. It's coming into the final sector now for Mexico. I'm just going to call you that, because yes, and he rounds the penultimate corner now. He's still got a decent amount of ERS. You need to hold it flat through here in order to get a good run. Usually a lot of people stick right to try and get the shortest run to the line, but I personally myself just stick left, and he stays 18th fastest. So not a good lap from him, as Uzumaki starts his final flying lap. Shady's being pushed back into the pits. He'll get 1 more run at it, as Goodale Fix is on a flyer. I don't think this will improve his position, but it'll improve his lap time enough to hopefully keep P3 for the Williams driver. He'll need a good start to the season. Everyone wants a good start to the season, I guess. He does. He goes 17-1. He's just 2 tenths off Uzumaki. 2 tenths off Shady and 3 tenths off Uzumaki. So he just needs to find a little bit more time, but I don't think he's got enough time for next, unless he's got He doesn't have enough fuel either, so that is his quali over. As Sparty has retired from the session, he doesn't think he can go better. Uzumaki set a purple sector 1, so this could be even better for the Red Bull driver. Obviously, the man from Puerto Rico was your champion last season, I believe, for this tier. He's been champion before in Season 2 and Season 3. He's a long-time raceback driver. He got Shady's retired, so Shady doesn't think he's going better. So was Z-Hanger, and he's done that on track, I believe, as Sharky goes 6th. Kulkaogi goes 10th. Kulkaogi currently in P10 on the mediums. That could be a good strategy as Uzumaki rounds the final corner. Now, what lap time will the Red Bull driver do? He comes up to the line. DRS will open now, and he sets a 1 minute 16.6 to just snatch away pole position. Not just snatch away pole position, but get pole position by a long margin. And that is a good lap from the Red Bull driver, as the clock has stopped early for me. So I think I had a timing glitch. So that time that I saw was wrong. I apologise for that. Is John going to go better? It looks like he may displace Kulkaogi out of the top 10. Obviously it's not full qualifying, this is your final grid position, but it still matters for Kulkaogi. Will he get P10? No, he doesn't. He just misses out by 0.03 of a second. That does mean he gets a fresh set of mediums and not his qualifying set of mediums if he chooses to start on them. Pedro Figueres is out of it. He's drifting around the track. Just waiting for him. Is Jimmy on a better lap? No, he's invalidated and kind of going across the track. So don't think that really matters, to be honest. There's some reports in for that. They're just petty because like this is the end of qualifying, doesn't affect anything. Twisty Canadian, I don't think he's going to improve. So I believe that is your qualifying grid order for the Portuguese Grand Prix. RSF1 Carito, or Uzumaki as he's otherwise known, has managed to take pole position here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Twisty Canadian gets pushed back into the garage. We can go to the results there. As you can see, Uzumaki on pole by 0.289 of a second over CJBR Shady. I don't know where he's from. Does it say on his... He's Lithuanian. Brilliant. We got the two Canadians on row 2 of Godao Fix and Z-Hanger. Both in the 17-1, so that could be an interesting battle to watch throughout the race, as they're pretty similar lap times. Alligator is 5th, with the two Americans of Sublime and Sharky in 6th and 7th. They're pretty close together, so we get another battle. Sparty is 8th. Freelance Tom is 9th, with John Gonu in 10th. Corgi is 11th, with Pedro Figueres 12th. The Great as... Yeah, I didn't get enough time. Brilliant. Thanks, Cody's. I wish I had enough time to read out the grid. Appreciate it. I'd need to read faster, that's all. But we're here for the race. Looking for a good one, hopefully. Hopefully it's a nice and simple race. Hopefully there's no well, maybe for them they want a safety car, but hopefully there's no deliberate safety cars. We can have hopefully a nice time and we can enjoy the racing. So the race starts in 15 seconds, or the formation lap does anyway, and we will continue on from there. Sorry, I'm a bit tired even though I only woke up 3 hours ago. Alright, formation lap is commencing now, as Uzumaki will lead them off with the formation lap. Okay, so we're halfway around the formation lap. Uzumaki's pulled a massive gap on the rest of the field, so he'll probably have to remove that fairly quickly, I would assume. As you can see, we go through the rest of the grid here, so you can see the tyres. So Freelance Tom did actually get in the mediums, so he's the first car on the medium tyres. You got Corgi and Pedro Figueres both on the mediums, 11th and 12th. You've got the great on softs, Henry, Professor Phil, and Jimmy both all on the mediums, and then you've got another soft tyre runner. So he's looking to get through the field quick. And you've got Twisty Canadian, Mexico, and Porsche, who's last, who's actually underfueled the car. That's an interesting strategy there from the Alpine driver. Will that pay off? We'll have to see, but he's also on the mediums as Uzumaki comes around the final corner now. He's slowing down, back to pack up, but Shady is not getting close. I don't know if they're under AI control or Shady is just not getting close. So, this is interesting. I think they're under AI control though, yeah, because they're all inside each other. So, as we get back onto the main straight for the start of this race, will Uzumaki defend his lead into turn 1, or will Shady be able to send it down the inside? Because Pole is on the outside here, since Uzumaki has stopped, pretty much. As we remove the leaderboard for the start of this race, just so we can see the cars pulling into the grid slots. As you can see, all of them lining up now, as the last car of that Porsche pulls into his pit, or not his pit box, in his grid slot. We can get ready for the start of this race. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Uzumaki looks to have got a good start against Shady, as they all run cleanly down to turn 1. Now it's 4 wide with the Aston Martins in the back. There's a bit of chaos down the back of the grid here. There's carbon fibre flying everywhere. Looks like everyone's got through though pretty unscathed through the first couple of corners. So we ride on board with the Aston Martin with the Aston Martin. There's a bit of brake checking and weaving going on. As you can see, Insane Sparty off the track. There's Freelance Tom takes advantage of that as coming down into turn 3 now. You can see the 3, 4, 5 cars at the front have got through unscathed, but look at the chaos back here we have. There's cars around, there's an Alpine round, is that Porsche round? It is. Porsche's round down the back as Jimmy makes a move on Pedro Figueres down in 13th place. As John gets that position back now, but it's Uzumaki who leads by nearly a second over Shady as Sharky's in 3rd in the Aston Martin, looking to hunt down Shady and Uzumaki. Z-Hanger's nearly dropped a second back now as Alligator and the Greatest You passes Insane Sparty into the final sector now. You've got Kulkagi in there as well, who also gets past Sparty, so Sparty's not had a good opening lap. I think he's the one that got damaged down at turn 1. It looks like he is, as there's a McLaren round of Henry down the back. He's had a bit of a spin, so hopefully he can get it back to the pits and get some new tyres on it if he does have any damage. Porsche, I think, may have some damage as well. Possibly, no, he stays out. As Johnny gets past Jimmy, as Jimmy and Johnny, Red Bull versus Mercedes. It's almost like real life down here, except you're fighting for 11th and 12th. As the Red Bull of the Red Bull of Jimmy gets past the Mercedes of Johnny. They are both in the second car, so it is Perez versus Bottas. But Jimmy's already used up over half his battery, so he's going to have to watch that. As Corgi gets past the Greatest You, past the other Mercedes. Does he manage to make the move stick? Yes, he does. He's also used up a lot of his battery too, so we'll have to look out for that as well. But Uzumaki looks to have the pace at this track. It looks to be more suited towards the pad this circuit. It was like that in Pacific as well. We had pad drivers pulling away, gaining and everything, so this track is very much a pad circuit. So we'll have to look out for those controller drivers, and I only know 2. I don't know if anyone else has a controller, and the only 2 I know are Corgi and Uzumaki. I don't know if anyone else is on pad at the moment, but look at that. Uzumaki's already got a 1.3 second lead over CJBR Shady. It looks like Sharky's hanging out for the DRS against Shady, as there's a spin at the back, and it looks to be Professor Phil in the Ferrari. So there's definitely been an incident down the back of the field, as Porsche has some pace and he's just the fastest lap of this race. He's down in 14th place as the Mercedes of Johnny hits. He has some front wing damages. McLaren and Ferrari set up against each other now, like also again like real life down here in Portugal. As Max Accor and Tay and the Ferrari of Tay battle it out. There's another yellow flag. Is that Freelance Tom around? No, it's Sharky. Sharky's had a collision. What has happened there? I'm sorry I didn't catch that. Sharky looks to have had a collision with possibly Shady, as he maybe tried to go for a move. Shady they may have come together. Sharky's going to be furious with himself, running in P3 and he's down to 10th. He's got a lot of work to do now. Is that Cool Kyogi off the road? Or no, it's Jimmy. No, it's not. It's Sharky again. He's spun. What the hell has happened to Sharky? As Shady's now sets the pace. So Shady's turned up the wick finally. His tyres have maybe come up to temperature slightly. And he's finally looking to set after Uzumaki. As we've got Cool Kyogi and Alligator down the main straight. Alligator looks to have a move on Freelance Tom. Freelance Tom, obviously the first one of the mediums drivers, so Alligator's trying to get past him as fast as possible, can't get in there. Run on board with the greatest you can see all three of them coming up this hill, as it looks like the greatest is going to maybe try and move on. As Alligator tries he might, he's got no ERS. Freelance Tom still has pretty much his whole battery left. As the Alfa Romeo and the greatest you and Kukaogi fighting on this contact. The greatest you's out of the race. Corgi has got front wing damage, and that's a big incident, and there is a safety car here in this race. Corgi and the Great come together through turn 5, and that spells the end of the race for the Mercedes. Alfa Romeo keeps going but nearly spins at turn 8, manages to gather it up, but that is a safety car, and that really is interesting for the race. Do they stay out? Do they keep going? Nobody knows. We'll have to wait and see on that one. There we go, and we are back in the action as all the top 5 all pit. Uzumaki's onto mediums. What does Shady go on to? I don't know if there's any rain or not in this race. Shady's also onto mediums. What does Z Hanger switch on to? Looks like everyone's pitting pretty much, except for Mexico. So Mexico takes the lead at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Z Hanger's onto mediums. Get out fixed onto medium. Everyone's onto mediums. As Cool Kyogi stayed out, also Corgi must have got wing damage then. So that's very lucky for him not to get wing damage on that instant. He's able to stay out and be P3 now. As Porsche, remember Porsche, he was spun on lap 1. He's now effective P2 in this Portuguese Grand Prix. So that is a very good run of luck for Porsche here in this Portuguese Grand Prix. Sort of sounds like his name, as there's a car overtaken the safety car. I think Mexico, yeah, he overtook the safety car. So now the whole field's going to be waved around again. Interesting. So that just adds time onto the safety car. As you can see, a lot of people have pit. Everyone but like 6-7 drivers pit under that safety car for fresh rubber. And we'll have to see what strategy prevails now, because this safety car is throwing a spanner in the works. But what it has done is thrown a spanner in Mercedes, because they're now down in 19th and 20th. And obviously 20th is out of the race. So they've got one car left and it's 19th. So disaster for Mercedes at the start of this race. It couldn't have gone any better for Alpine, for the Alpine of Porsche, because they've got 2 cars now in the top 5. As there looks to be a car spun. Is that Twisty Canadian? Yes, it is. Twisty Canadian has spun off the circuit up at turn 8. Obviously the troll corner on this year's game, the bogey corner as people say. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to his tyres. Z Hanger pits again. Interesting. So Z Hanger's coming for the mediums and he's pitting again this lap. Is he going to fit the softs or did he get wing damage? He must have got wing damage. And he's going to fit a new set of medium tyres. So So he's had a mare somewhere on the safety car, and he's managed to get wing damage somewhere. So it's interesting for Z-Hanger. It's hurt his race dramatically, but apologies, bit of a blocked nose. But he rejoins the track and slides the car. So wonder what has happened to Z-Hanger there, as Mexico has finally caught up to the safety car, and we'll have now a couple laps of just uneventful action, hopefully, under the safety car as the field bunches up. We have to wait for the whole field to bunch, and then they'll release the safety car. It's a bit weird on this year's game. Don't know why they don't just release the safety car with no one there, but it is whatever. 15,000. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at coronavirus numbers while we're under safety car for where I live. Yes. So we'll just get a quick penalty update for everyone in the stream chat. So only one penalty at the moment is Cool Kyogi in the Alfa Romeo. He only has a 3-second. I think he actually picked it up when he made contact with the Great U. So maybe get that removed as we actually go racing this lap. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. As the top three skip away a little bit from Uzumaki, who's sort of kept his distance, as these three will be playing for keeps as Freelance Tom gets ahead of Sublime down the main straight. As all the cars now try to make their way through turn 1, 2 and 3, as Kukalgi looks to put a move on Porsche. We run on board with Uzumaki in the Red Bull, as Jimmy has had a spin down the back. As Porsche looks to send one down the inside. Freelance Tom picks up a penalty. Uzumaki's down the inside of Corgi's. Porsche's again hit down at that hairpin corner. He gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. Lets his teammate through, assumes the right thing to do. As Uzumaki now sets after Corgi, but he's got Shady right behind him. And Max Actor is going to be wanting to pull away as fast as possible. As Goodell Fix tries to make a move on Professor Phil. Doesn't manage to get the move done, but he hits him. There's contact. And maybe there's wing damage from there, but he just drove straight to the back of the Ferrari. Hopefully there's no damage to the diffuser of the Ferrari car. That was a big incident just then, as one of the cars is off the track. Down there at the back is the Mercedes. Johnny looks to make a move on Kuko's teammate Z-Hanger for 15th place, and actually makes that move stick. He's on the soft tyres, so look at him to be coming back through the field quickly as Max Accord dives to the right. You can see them all wiggle like a snake to the right hand side of the track as Cool Kyogi takes the lead, but he's got Uzumaki as Max Actors actually just slow down, letting them through. I wonder why he hasn't let Shady through. Maybe he's trying to plan something with Uzumaki. Who knows? But Cool Kyogi now leads the Portuguese Grand Prix after starting 11th. Alfa Romeo driver now leads the race. He and great course safety car, which kind of made him lead the race, to be honest, as Shady and was that Shady who made contact with? It was Shady who's made contact with Mex Actor. He was just hitting him off the track then. What has gone on there? Shady's got no front wing. That has ruined any chance of Shady winning this race, I would assume, from now. And that has completely ruined the battle between him and Uzumaki tonight. Oh, that is so disappointing to see from Shady, as Professor Phil's had a spin down at this corner. He maybe got a little bit of contact, but he's dropping down the field as well. A lot of cars pop up as Johnny's now up to 13th on those soft tyres. He's managed to gain a couple of positions as Mexico, sorry, I still can't say that name properly. Passes Freelance Tom. He's looking out for the McLaren, as Uzumaki now in the slipstream of Kulkawi DRS is enabled this lap. So will Uzumaki try and go for it into turn 1? He's a little bit too far back. He'll have to wait until the next straight, as Kulkawi and him have pretty much the same battery. Uzumaki just has a little bit more, so you can get a little bit more by sitting in the DRS of another car around this track, because DRS is extremely powerful. As I think Kulkawi actually made a mistake there. Uzumaki will blast past. There's nothing Kulkawi can do, and that's Uzumaki back into the lead of this race, as Insane Sparty's had a spin down at turn 3 with Twisty Canadian. Those two have dropped back now as Shady's into the pit lane, and this will be a race to forget for the Alpine driver so far. He's going to be last by a long margin, as Porsche and Corgi separated by the same distance. Alligator's been passed by a lot of cars. He's down to 11th. He may have had a little bit of a half spin off the exit of turn 8 as they come up and down the hill like a roller coaster, like everyone says. He's looking at Sharky. Does he want to make a move on Sharky? No, he sends one down the inside. As Johnny's actually sent one on him, so Johnny's actually doing pretty good at this race. He's on the soft tyres, as I've mentioned multiple times before, but he is looking to make his way back through this field with DRS enabled. The one thing he needs to avoid is getting into a DRS train, as Kulkaogi gets DRS now on Uzumaki. He doesn't manage to close up close enough, but he's still hopefully just going to try and stick within the DRS of the Red Bull, and that'll really help his race out, as Henry also looks at Freelance Tom, as Alligator has a little bit of a look on Tay had a little bit of a look on Alligator, as Sharky picks up a 3-second penalty. So penalties are starting to come in across the board now. Is Alligator looking to move on Johnny? No, but Sharky's just hit Pedro, and that's going to give Johnny all the impetus he needs, but he didn't quite get a good enough exit. I think he got caught up in the incident that has dropped Sharky out of DRS range of Pedro, and that's going to leave him vulnerable as they all squirm off the exit of turn 8, as we ride on board with the McLaren of Sublime 2, and he's got the Haas all over him, as this pack is starting to form into a little bit of a DRS train. They're all sort of within the same time. No one's really pulling away, or no one's really coming closer, as Corgi picks up his second 3-second penalty. That's 6 seconds for Corgi in 11 laps. So he's got to be careful with the track limits for the rest of this race, as Gadao fixes in the DRS of Porsche. We watch Pedro and Sharky and Johnny, as Johnny looks to put a move on. He's a little bit too far back. I got a little bit confused with the timing tower there, as these guys are sort of just sticking with each other now because of the DRS train, as Alligator actually gets past Johnny, so Johnny's lost a place. He's trying to go down the inside. He does manage to get down the inside on Alligator, back into 11th place for him. He needs to avoid fighting with the other soft tyre runner, because that only hurts his progress in this race. But I think Alligator's going to try and go down the inside as Terry Queese, and sorry, I clicked the wrong button there, as they were they 3 wide? Oh no, wait, no, I'm just terrible at looking at stuff. Johnny has managed to keep that 11th place. He then picks up a penalty. It's the fastest lap, I believe, was set by Shady down in 19th. So he really needs another safety car in this race in order to bring him back into contention, as these 4 are now all within each other. As Pedro goes really wide, he's going to lose a position to Sharky in 9th place, as Sharky goes around the outside, tries to pull it off, doesn't quite get the move done, as Pedro will stick on the inside, but Sharky's going to try and go around the outside. He's a little bit of overtake side by side through the final corner, completely flat out. They'll both have DRS, I would assume. Yep, they both do have DRS, but Sharky has a slipstream, but Pedro has the inside line heading into turn 1. Usually the inside line will yield, doesn't really yield, but usually they take the lead, but it looks like he decided to yield. I think it was worth battling as Mexico is shoved off the track by the two McLarens. The two McLarens getting their elbows out now as Sublime picks up a 3-second penalty as Pedro goes back down the inside of Sharky here. Sublime goes down the inside of his teammate. So the two McLarens fighting out. The Haas of Pedro goes wide. Mexico, sorry, who went wide. Pedro's up to 8. Sharky's past Mexico, who picks up a penalty. Alligator's back in the pack now as Johnny pit for mediums. So Johnny's decided to abandon his soft strategy and go to mediums early. Interesting call from the Mercedes team. So we'll have to see how that one pans out over the rest of the races. Gadao is still in the DRS of Porsche, but isn't closing. Uzamuki is just pulling a slight gap as Sharky and Pedro go side by side into the final sector. Running on board now with Sharky. You can see the Haas right there as the two McLarens have lost DRS on each other, but these two still go side by side. I think Henry may still get the DRS just slightly as we ride. Oh, there's contact. Pedro is turned on the inside. He loses 2 spots by Sharky, and that's going to be a bitter. Oh, is that someone in the pit? That's someone in the pits. I thought someone just flew into the pit wall as Alligator looks to get a move on, but there's a yellow flag in sector 1. That is Gadao Fix, who's had a spin, and he has lost 4 seconds to Porsche, and 6 seconds to Porsche, 4 seconds to Freelance Tom. And he's now getting passed by Sublime and the McLarens, so the McLarens now picking off the Williams as well, down into turn 4. And up through the rise, coming towards turn 8, and Sublime is up to 5th place. Gadao Fix is down into 6th. We still got this battle raging on down the back here as they still go side by side. Sharky's pulling moves on everyone left and right, getting his elbows down the Aston Martin. He couldn't quite pull off the move on Henry there, but Henry goes a little bit wide. They're going to go round, trying to go round the outside through the next corner. That surely won't work, and it doesn't for Sharky. When he gets the switchback, and he makes more contact with the McLaren, so he's not having a good time trying to pass people. A lot of contact going on, but he manages to get that 7th place, and he will get DRS on Gadao Fix as well, so he will most likely get that place as Pedro picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as Alligator gets past Mexico, who pulls into the pit lane. So he started on those mediums. It looks like he'll be going to the hard tyres. So we'll be looking, if you started on the mediums, you'll be looking at around lap 19 to pit for softs as the earliest point to go to the end of the race. If you're pitting early in that, you'll have to go on the hard tyres to the end of the race because the softs just won't make the distance. But you can see the two Ferraris there running line astern. Professor having a, oh no, it was Tay having a look on Professor. They were getting close, but this battle up here with all these cars as Sharky, I think, makes a little bit of contact with the Williams there. So Sharky's got a bit of pace in that Aston Martin. Obviously, he was running P3 earlier, so he's looking to try and get back to his original spot. He has not made a pit stop in this race, so there's still the mediums he started the race on, I believe. Did he start on? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, he started on the softs. As Gadao Fix makes a mistake, Sharky, that's going to give Sharky all over, and they nearly make contact through that corner as Gadao Fix breaks early. And as we round the final turn now, Gadao Fix is going to get DRS on Sublime. So Sharky won't be getting as much of an advantage as he really wants. You can see that Williams start to pull away slightly as Sharky runs low on ERS. But he's still gaining. No, he's not. No one's gaining on each other, really, if he's got DRS. Henry's still just sat there, but he's starting to fall back a little bit as Gadao Fix gets held up by Sublime. Sharky's going to try and make a nice little move here. He doesn't manage to get it done. These 5 cars all running line astern at the moment. Sharky needs to save a little bit of fuel. He's still under-fueled at the moment, but Gadao Fix has gone wide, but oh, so close there between the Aston Martin and the Williams. Both obviously Mercedes-powered cars. All of these cars are actually Mercedes-powered in this battle, so Mercedes power supplying a lot of people. As we now come into the uphander, hill, downhill, not hander. And Sharky's all over the back of Get Out Fix. He's all over the back of Sublime. So Sublime could get mugged down this main straight here. If Sharky can get a good enough exit, and Get Out Fix get a good enough exit, he can get absolutely mugged down this main straight. They're both within 3/10 of him. So you gain about half a second when the DRS opens. This could be very bad for Sublime. He can get passed by 2 people here as Get Out Fix pulls out from behind the McLaren. He goes down the inside into turn 1. They run side by side. He's on the curb. He's been spun. You could see that coming from a mile away. Get Out Fix is turned round, and Sharky moves up the order as Get Out Fix moves down to 13th. He had no choice there. He had to make the move, but it just came off badly for the Williams, and he is down to 13th position now in this race, and that is not what he wanted to see happen to him. As Professor Phil goes looking at a move on Z-Hanger as Jimmy picks up a penalty. A lot of penalties being handed out now as Freelance Tom's now within the close enough to Porsche to start to think about having a move, as Professor Phil still on the back of the Z-Hanger, who's sort of holding up this trio before they can get back to the DRS train that's sort of being formed now by Alligator and Henry and all these guys. As Sharky now looks to put a move on Sublime. The yellow flag in Sector 2, I believe that is Twisty Canadian, who's off in the gravel trap. Yes, it is. Shady would have wanted that to be a crash so he could get a safety car, but it is not. It is just a spin down at turn 8. And as Freelance Tom does actually get past Porsche down this main straight into turn 1. So Porsche down to 4th. Alpine held 3rd for a long, long time, now down to 4th as Freelance Tom looks to set after Cool Kyogi as well. To credit to him, he's only 4 seconds off Uzumaki, and so that's not bad from the Alfa Romeo, but he's gone wide there, so that's probably a warning. There's another yellow flag, as I believe that was Jimmy off in the gravel trap, as he's almost being lapped now, as Twisty Canadian's way over the curbs there. As Sharky did actually get past Sublime, as Tay gets past Z-Hanger as well. Z-Hanger and Insane Sparty, so Sharky's teammate looking to also make a move on an Alfa Romeo. But this race has sort of started to settle down now as Pedro passes Twisty Canadian. So Pedro, who was running up with Sharky in that, now down in 17th on the soft tyres. He probably won't make it to the end of this race, so he's also hanging out for a safety car down there as Jimmy passes Canadian, as Canadian now drops to last in this race. As the race is sort of stabilising a little bit, the gaps are sort of expanding out apart from the one that's still too tense. Does Porsche have any challenge to Freelance Tom? Doesn't look like it. Oh my god. Jesus. As Tay's in the pits. So he's in the pits. He's coming off his medium tyres. What tyres does he fit on? Most likely, I assume, going to be the soft tyres. Long way down to the Alfa Romeo garage. So have to see what comes on. It is the soft. No, it's the mediums actually. It looks like the 1 lap old mediums he probably either started the race on or did a lap on in quali or something. But he's on to the medium tyres at the end of this race. As Porsche actually close up to Freelance Tom now. So we'll have to wait and see who manages to come out on top in this battle. So Porsche and Freelance Tom have closed up onto each other, so have Insane Sparty and Tay. So they're your 2 battles at the moment. Everyone else is sort of just sitting around, just doing laps at the moment. I have to see what Porsche does down this main straight. It's half a second, so he'll gain a little bit of time. I don't think he'll get right up close to him unless he was completely burning his overtaking, but he doesn't have any to burn. He's gained about 2/10 down that main straight. And see how he goes down this second straight. No lockups, nice and smooth. So if you want a good run, you need to really be going wider out there and then cutting back in so you get a good exit. But he didn't do that, as these guys duke it out over a current podium. As Professor Phil, we're going to have a look at the penalties. So 6 seconds for Corgi. So at the moment Corgi retains second place, but he's only got a second in hand. Porsche, Freelance Tom, Sharky and Sublime all have 3 seconds. They'll all stay where they are. If Tay can gain 1.2 seconds, he will finish ahead of them as Johnny picks up another penalty. So Gadao, Fix and Professor Phil also have 3 seconds. Johnny now has 11. Mex Accor has 3 along with Alligator, and Z Hanger, Shady both have 3 as well as Tootsie Canadian. Jimmy has 9 and Pedro has 6. So a decent amount of penalties handing out. So Uzumaki, Insane Sparty and Tay and Henry are the only ones without a penalty so far. So let's have a look at Tay. Does Tay, because Tay is close, does he manage to get inside, down the inside of Insane Sparty? Is Sparty forcing him to the outside? He's going to go round the outside into turn 1. It's a lovely move down the main straight. I always enjoy it. As Sparty now picks up a 3-second time penalty for running wide. So he'll maybe protest that. Remember, folks, if you're on the race, as Pedro picks up a 10-second penalty, he's crashed. Will that be a safety car? He's crashed off the track. His car is somewhere over there. There it is. Doesn't look like a safety car at the moment. It's just a yellow, it's just a local yellow. You see the car off there, up in the wall. I'd be surprised if that wasn't a safety car in real life, to be honest. As it is not a safety car, so we resume racing again in the 3rd sector as Z-Hanger picks up a penalty. Now, as you can see, the position changes. Well, Porsche's up 16 positions from his starting spot. Kulkalgi's up 9. So he still needs to pit as well. So he's going a long way on those medium tyres for Kulkalgi. So I'm assuming he'll be in the pits within the next couple laps for a set of softs if he's going that long. As Sparty now looks up and Tay looks to get ahead of Tay as Pedro has left the session. He's the one who crashed. As he looks not close enough to go down the inside, he's got to watch out though, because if he makes a mistake, Gadao fixes right in behind him and looking to take it away. As Henry sets the fastest lap down the McLaren, so the soft tyre is obviously working well for him. He's getting a little bit of an undercut as Porsche has started to drop back slightly from Freelance Tom, as Insane Sparty goes round the outside, side by side now between the two as he has to back out going into turn 7, as you can't run side by side through that section without making a significant amount of contact. But these 3 now locked in battle. There's also a little battle pack behind them consisting of the McLaren of Henry and Alligator, Mexico and Z-Hanger, but they're all outside of second. These are within a second of each other, so we'll focus on them for the moment as Porsche and as Corgi and Freelance Tom both pit, as Freelance Tom picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding. So I have to see where they come out relative towards the actual race. As Insane Sparty now looks again on Tay, as Gadao's into the pit lane, so interesting choice from him to pit now, as Sparty's completely out of ERS. He tries to go around the outside, he won't get around there because he's not far enough ahead. As Freelance Tom comes out behind this lot, Corgi's come out in front, so that's good for Corgi. He's on fresher, faster tyres, so hopefully he can pull away and make that penalty gap again that he had, while Freelance Tom gets caught up with this. As you can see, right on board actually with Freelance Tom. Remove this for a second, there you go. As Insane Sparty gets down the inside, Freelance Tom looks down the inside of Tay. Can't get the move done, he's going to be frustrated because he's going to have to be stuck behind him. Just not close enough there to get around the outside. This is hurting Freelance Tom as Tay defends the inside. I think Tay's looking to try and maybe let him pass, and he does. Not really going to fight that one there as he almost hits him. But that is Freelance Tom up to 5th, but he's lost about 2 seconds to Kulkalgi in that section of track. So that's not good for him. And he'll have to probably blast his way past Insane Sparty this lap as Porsche pulls into the pit lane for Alpine. He has decided to call it quits on his tyres, so has Sharky. So Sharky and Porsche both in the pit lane. Interestingly, Uzumaki's still out in 1st place, so he's going long in this race as we see Freelance Tom going on Insane Sparty. As down the inside he goes. Sparty's not going to really fight that one too hard. He knows he's on a different strategy, and that mishap getting caught behind those cars has cost Freelance Tom 2.5 seconds. As we see a lot of pit stops going ahead now. You can see Taze coming into the pits, that's why he's dropping down the autos. We see Henry, the two McLarens again going at it. There's another DRS train forming down here. And once again, Sharky's in it. Sharky just can't escape the DRS train today. It's not going to be helping his race in any way, as Jimmy and Uzumaki are actually right, the two Red Bulls are right line astern as Uzumaki pulls into the pits. He's decided to call it quits. Luffy sped. No, he didn't. I shouldn't say that. I apologise, Uzumaki. That was wrong of me to say, and I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the racing. You can see this group of cars all nice and bunched up together. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of action coming out of these guys for a little bit. As Kulkaogi sets the fastest lap of the race. So Kulkaogi doesn't get ahead of Uzumaki because Uzumaki had too much of a gap, but he has closed the gap down by like 2 or 3 seconds. As Insane Sparty now gets passed by Porsche. So I wonder if Sparty's maybe trying to go to the end of the race on this set of mediums. He put those on like lap 10. They could make it to the end of the race, but they'd be very, very short at the end. So it'll be interesting to see what strategy he pulls off, because if he pits now, he's going to be way down the field. He's going to be like 10th, 11th, 12th region in that battle. So he doesn't really want to be there. He's got a 10-second gap now to Johnny, and he can try and hold that as, I think that's Shady off down at turn 1. He's lost his front wing. His race goes from bad to worse as he picks up a 3-second penalty that was so deserved, Codemasters. But Shady's race has really gone downhill. As soon as that safety car came out, it's all gone wrong for him. So he'll have to regroup, come back better for China, as I think that's Jimmy off as well. So something's going on down at turn 1. Maybe there's a glitch or something, because that's 2 cars in the space of about 30 seconds who've both gone off down at turn 1. Maybe it's driver error and coincidence, but you never know. As Get Our Fix gets passed by Puff Phil, and Porsche sets the fastest up of the race now. So Porsche's got a little bit of pace. So really interesting to see, because Freelance Tom has 8 seconds worth of penalty. So Kulkaogi doesn't need to have a gap. He needs to have a gap to Porsche, as Insane Sparty passes Johnny down the main straight. These guys have been a little bit battly today, and we have 7 laps left for this Portuguese Grand Prix in America series. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. 10 people who are currently watching. I appreciate you all being here. It's my first time commentating America series, so hopefully I've done you all right. As Alligator and Henry go side by side down into turn 5, Henry pulls that move off. Alligator on those mediums, he really should have stayed and gone onto softs, but you know, you never really know when it comes to the strategy on this game. So he could become good at the end of the races. Canadian and Jimmy battle down in 18th place. I think that's Jimmy off the track. Looks like he and Twisty Canadian having a good scrap, as he has no front wing, does Jimmy. So Twisty Canadian moves up into 17th. Sorry, holy crap. So Uzumaki again re-establishing his gap over Kulkaogi. Obviously he's got fresher soft tyres, and he's just been fast this whole night. So if no mistakes happen from here, and looks like it's going the way of Uzumaki, it'll be a great start for him and his title defense, especially for him. So hopefully he can continue on and win this race. He'll take the lead in the standings. Obviously it's the first race, so at the moment these are your current standing positions, as well as if it finishes like this, because it's round 1. So it'll be Uzumaki in the lead with Corgi in 2nd place in the overall standings, and you'll have Shady down in 17th. So it'll be a long fight back for him, especially in the championship, to recover from this race. Remember, in race spec, first scores 30 points, second is 26, and third I think is 23, and you get points all the way down to 15. So 15th gets 1 point, 14th gets 2, and it goes up from there. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's Twisty Canadian off the track. Yes, it was. So he's down in 17th place, so it's not really going to affect anyone. He's 4 seconds off Shady, who's 51 seconds off the next car. So Shady's a long, long way back. I think he's actually been lapped in this race. Yes, he has. So he's been lapped, as Jimmy's still running around with no front wing on. Either that or he's just lost it again. So that's not going to be good for him. As, geez, my voice is going. Sublime and Johnny look to have a nice little battle for P7. I think they've both got 3 seconds. Yeah, they do, so this will be effective. Henry behind them. Henry behind Alligator has 6 seconds, so he's going to drop a little bit. The thing that'll ruin Cool Coyote and the people with lots of penalties race that have decent gap is a safety car. So if safety car comes out now, Cool Coyote with his 6 second will drop basically down to 10th, because everyone will be so close together and they'll all be within 3 seconds of him. So hopefully there's no safety cars, but it looks like he's going to get a comfortable second place unless he gets another penalty, in which case he will probably drop to 3rd. So he just needs to keep it nice and smooth there in second place as we start lap 29 of this Porch of Geese Grand Prix. So we've got the porch full of geese for the Grand Prix. So Shady sets the fastest lap. So again, another thing in race spec is if you set the fastest lap, no matter what position you're in, you get the point for it. So Shady would get 1 point, but he'd still finish in his current position in the standings anyway. As Sublime passes Johnny down the main straight. So Johnny's on 15 lap old medium, Sublime's on 5 lap old soft. So should be a pretty it was a pretty easy move for him, and he sets off after Sharky now, who's currently got a 1.6 second lead, sorry, over Sublime. Well, the McLarens haven't had a bad race. They've been involved in a lot of battles, which is always fun for, you know, the drivers who are actually driving the cars. It's always fun to have a nice little battle every once in a while, so hopefully they can carry that on for the season. As Freelance Tom is actually close up to the back of of Cool Coyote. So Corgi may have had a little bit of an accident, as Porsche is still, no, he's not low on fuel. Sharky is low on fuel actually. Hold on, let's try and have a sneaky little look. It looks like he's 0.05 under it, it looks like, from his steering wheel. So you can see that he's doing a little bit of lifting and coasting around the track, trying to save a little bit of fuel. Sparty, his teammate, who looks to be trying to go to the end of the mediums, he's pitting. Late call. He should have done that earlier if I was him. Maybe he's at risk of a puncture or something, but he's going to drop way down the field. He's going to be like 15th at least, I reckon. Probably even more. No, not 15. No, he had wing damage apparently. Must have picked up wing damage from somewhere. Oh, he will be 15th. So he's going to be 15th and last, pretty much, of the points running positions after running in 5th. And there's a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that's Z-Hanger. He's made contact with the barrier. He's lost his front wing. So that's not good for him. So that's another position for Sparty to gain up a position for. And that won't put Shady in the points. He's miles behind, but you never know. Shady currently getting the fastest lap point anyway. As Goodell Fix still in this race, looking to try and snag some more points. He's never given up in this race, as we have 3 laps remaining. He's been taken out. He's had collisions. Corgi had a collision. Porsche had a collision. Porsche was last at the end of lap 1. He looks at the moment to be finishing in P4, so that's a good recovery drive from the Alpine, but if he can gain 7/10 on Freelance Tom, he can actually finish on the podium, which would be a good recovery for him. And down the back straight we go as Goodell Fix pulls out behind the McLaren. He goes past down the inside into turn 1. Clean move, easy move, and he's up to 9th. Can he pull away though? That is the question, as Henry, he has extra penalties. But can Henry gain back on him? They're both completely out of ERS pretty much. It says contact as Henry hits get out fix into the hairpin. So hopefully there's no more than just a little bit of contact like that was just there. Hopefully there's no major contact like we saw earlier with Shady. Sorry about that. So we start the penultimate lap of this race. Uzumaki currently coming up to lap his teammate again. He has lapped his teammate again, as Uzumaki is again low on ERS. So what's Porsche's ERS situation? So Freelance got a little bit more ERS than Porsche. So have to see how that helps him in the latter stages of this race. Sharky is still in 5th. He's not doing much. Henry is still looking to get back past Get Out Fix, but can't get it done. Profville and Mexico can't really gain too much as they're both within a DRS train, but they will gain on penalties as Henry's currently finishing down in 12th due to his extra 3-second time penalty compared to... Actually, no, it is Henry with the extra penalty. So he's currently finishing down in 12th position because of his time penalties, so he'll have to pull out a miracle in this last lap and a half in order to not finish in 12th position as Uzumaki starts the final lap of this Portuguese Grand Prix. As that Get Out Fix? That is Get Out Fix. He spun it at turn 80s off in the gravel trap, and that is the miracle that Henry and Profville needed to get back past him. And oh, that is absolute calamity for Get Out Fix in the Williams. He has driven an impeccable race and he's gone again. He's off again. He's going to lose. He's got rear wing damage for sure there. He's down to 14th place. He's not even going to finish inside the top 10, let alone he's going to finish in the top 15, so he's going to get some points. But he's gone a long way from where he started, and that is such a shame for him because he's driven absolutely impeccable race and he's made one mistake and it's completely ruined it. So I feel bad for him, but you know, you can't if you make the mistake, you've got to pay the price, unfortunately, I guess. As Uzumaki now, we haven't seen him for a little while, but he's driven absolutely impeccable this race. He's been the class of the field, and he rounds the final corner as his old rival picks up its penalty. Uzumaki slows down and wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. Corgi comes across the line in 2nd place. Z-Hanger picks up the penalty. Freelance Tom finishes in 3rd. Where will Porsche finish? He looks to get 4th. Sharky comes around the final corner now and he finishes in 5th position. Actually, no, Sublime gets 5th position because of Sharky's penalty. So Sublime, a great race. Johnny finishes in 7th. Alligator finishes 7th ahead of Johnny. Johnny's penalty. Henry finishes in 11th. Shady sets the fastest lap. So Shady gets 2 points actually because he finishes in 15th position. As Get Out Fix will come home the line in 14th. So that is your Portuguese Grand Prix for Race Spec Season 6 in America's Open Series Season 1. I mean, Round 1, not Season 1, Season 6, sorry. My voice is gone. And Porsche is your driver of the day. So that is Uzumaki, your winner, by 13 seconds over Corgi. So great result from Corgi there. Freelance Tom comes home in third, Porsche's fourth, Sublime is fifth, Sharky comes home in sixth, Alligator finishes in seventh, Profil is eighth, Mexico is ninth, Johnny is 10th, Henry is 11th, Tay 12th, Insane Spidey comes home in 13th after that late strategy call, 14th is G'day after his late spin, Shady's 15th after his calamitous race, Z-Hanger is 16th, Canadian 17th, with Jimmy in 18th, and DNFs were Pedro and Great. That is your race. I'd like to thank you for joining me here in Race Spec, and we look forward to seeing you in the next race.